Good morning. All right. Oof. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. I know Nicole and Nicole. Good morning. Hi, Kayla. Good morning. Good morning, Rosa. You're early. Hi, Janine. Hi, Jackie. Hello, Gypsy. Yep, it is Monday. Good morning, Janelle. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Good morning, Valerie. We're like T minus 6 days until our second eclipse. We are almost clicking into Mercury retrograde. So we'll talk about that. It's been kind of an interesting time. I'd love to hear how you're feeling, how this weekend was. Okay, Jackie's on a flight to Florida. That sounds good to me. Good morning. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Jessica. Waves, waves, waves all around. Oof, you had a migraine yesterday. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're better today. It's definitely a beautiful day here. We had such a rainy, cold, sloshy weekend, but looks like it's going to be 72 today here in central PA. So that sounds good. I feel bad for all of these plants. Good morning, Kate. So Kate tried my new service, the texting voice message service. Kate, what did you think about that? Did you like that format? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Jen. I'm like putting you on the spot. You better say nice things. I'm just kidding. You can tell me. Hey, Mary Beth. Janelle says, spending a lot of time reflecting on my life, very weepy but grateful. Yeah, I was running around as well. I honestly love the voice texting situation. I think it's amazing, and I am very excited to keep doing those because it's really easy for me too, because that's kind of my most natural way of communicating is like, just using my phone like that. So it was good. I like that. Kate says it allowed me to connect without feeling pressured with the Zoom situation. Exactly. Exactly. I love that. So if you're interested in booking that, you can find the links on my profiles. It's the text option. I use Voxer for that, so you can either voice me or you can text me on there and get a little reading. It's kind of cool. Have you seen season 2 of Bridgerton? Edwina Sharma totally reminds me of you. Why, yes, I have seen season 2 of Bridgerton, and I loved Edwina and thought she was beautiful. I also loved that actress in Sex Education, if you ever seen that. But I was so excited to see them casting brown girls in the leads of Bridgerton because growing up, I was super, super, super into any Regency romance, but all of the characters were always white women. And so it was so hard for me to imagine myself as like an Elizabeth Bennet. But I tried. And seeing that representation means so much because I know that like little brown girls, like Sarah used to be, are looking at that and like their imaginations are able to allow them to be in that space instead of being like, oh, it wouldn't be. I think what I used to say in my head is like, it wouldn't be historically accurate for someone like me to be there. And now it doesn't fucking matter. And I love that. So I super appreciate Shonda diversifying that portfolio because that meant so much and I did enjoy it. I love the romance stuff. It's the truth. Good morning. Hi, Christine. Good morning. Good morning. So, how it works if you're new here, we're going to chat a little bit about the energy first, and then we do something called sensory card pull. So, I'll give you three things. You pick which one feels resonant with you, and then I do three separate pulls. So, I don't take questions or do specific readings for people, but you will get a message during today's live. So, just hold on for that. Thank you so much, Chris. Hi, Beach Doodle. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Anna. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I know. So it's Monday and I have readings all morning. I'm so excited. I'm excited to connect with you guys. Um, it's a new one. It's been so long. All right, so it is Monday, the 9th. Wow. Okay. Woof. Where is the time going? All right, so it's Monday the 9th. Our next live channeling is next Sunday, the 15th, right? Is that right? Next Sunday, the 15th. Um, wow for that, by the way. But I wanted to read you something from the first channeling, from the solar eclipse channeling, um, to see how this hits for you. There was a quote from Ashtar that was in response to a question that one of the audience members asked, which had to do with, um, what about other people? Is anyone going to be left behind? What about other people who are not, waking up or whatever it is? And this is what Ashtar said. There needs to be a full stop on the worrying about other people. The continued worry about others doing, learning, and perceiving is holding you back. It is holding you back from doing your own work, and it is a crutch. The emphasis on everyone else needs to not be the main focus. The main focus is your perception, clearing old programs, and leading from heart space. That popped up to me again today because it's not only worrying about people making it or realizing things or waking up or understanding you or any of that. There's also an element of you needing to control, and that's what I'm feeling for myself right now. So I'm bringing it up to you in case you're feeling it, because very often I find myself looking at that, like, what are why do you need to know this and this and this, if not to control a situation, to make things feel safe for you, right? And I'm in a situation right now where I'm like, I'm not, I can't continue to put myself in the position of being responsible for somebody else's moral compass, decisions, non decision, anything like that. I have to worry about myself. And I have noticed very clearly that when I do shift the focus onto myself and worry about my reactions to things, what I am going to do, what I'm not going to do, how I feel, the other things take care of themselves in a much more pleasing way and sometimes surprising way than they would with me trying to get a chokehold on all the moving pieces. So I say that because maybe it will help you today. I'm going to read the quote one more time. There needs to be a full stop on the worrying about other people. The continued worry about others doing, learning, perceiving is holding you back. It is holding you back from doing your own work, and it is a crutch. The emphasis on everyone else needs to not be the main focus. The main focus is your perception, clearing old programs, and leading from a heart space. So that was from the first channeling, which was the solar eclipse channeling. Our second channeling is going to be the lunar eclipse channeling on the 15th. Highly recommend you watch the solar eclipse one because the live channelings contain a lot of layered information. Channeling those straight through, you do get to ask questions as well. But because I'm doing the channeling that way, it's pretty dense. So watching it over again might be a good idea before next week if you have time for that. But last time we looked at topics of new dates that we need to look out for. with the energy spikes and how to track your emotional spikes with the solar flares that are happening, a whole thing about emotion, a whole thing about 3D, 5D, and what ascension is and what that means, this and scarcity program and mindset. And we also, I think, talked about the North Node, South Node, Taurus and Scorpio axis and what that means for the eclipses to be happening on those two axes. But what was I going to tell you about that? Yeah. So if you want to join us and you're not already a member, you can join live channeling. There's a free trial. Go to my website, sarahmala.com, or just click on the link that's in my profile. And when you join, you'll have immediate access to all the channelings, so you can go back and watch whichever one you want to. We keep them in a catalog there for you. So something to think about, because May 15th is going to be a really high energy day, so it's probably going to be pretty interesting channeling. All right, so that's what's happening with that. Mercury goes into retrograde tomorrow, as you know, and this is going to pull us back now into last Monday. Remember last Monday when I told you to stick a pin in it and feel like what were the emotions you had? Like how did you feel that day? All those different things. All right. Now I'm reminding you about that. So whatever was going on for you Monday, tomorrow when Mercury goes into retrograde, everything kind of stops for a second. Okay? And then it's going to start moving back into that energy. So pay attention to those notes. Pay attention to what you learned from last Monday and how you want to treat that energy when it comes back around. If the energy last Monday was really positive for you and kind of felt like, oh my God, it's like a dream come true, ask yourself this question. When that dream come true energy comes through again, how do you want to meet it? How do you want to greet it? Okay. How do you want to receive it? And you're ready for it, right? You want to have like this energy's favorite things all set up, fresh towels, like whatever it is, right? If last Monday's energy was literally the opposite of anything that you would want, again, ask yourself the same question. How are you going to meet that energy? How did you meet it last week? And how are you going to meet it this time? If it was really something that did not work for you at all, be standing there waiting and saying, hold on a second. I'm going to address this differently. I don't think you can come in today. I don't think you can come over here. You are the one who decides. So understanding that energetic boomerang that just happened is meant to assist you in meeting that energy again with clarity and with understanding so that you can say yes or no. So either you're inviting this energy back in and saying, yeah, we want you to be here, or you're saying, no, that was interesting. I learned things. You can keep it moving. I don't want that here. So just remember that. That's you. You're a sovereign being. You are deciding. Okay. It's not being pushed upon you. This is just the astrological weather. You can ignore it. You can work with the energy and allow that to support the choices you're making. It's just like, you look at the forecast and it says it's going to rain all weekend, and you decide, I don't care that it's going to rain and be cold all weekend because it is May and it should be warm. So you don't pack any jacket of any sort, and you decide to wear sneakers that, when wet, will turn your feet into soggy bricks. And that is a decision that you made. Sound like a real story? Because it is. But that's a decision you made. I knew what the weather was going to be. And I decided that because of the month, I was going to dress inappropriately, and that was my decision. And I was cold and I was wet. So that's kind of what the astrological weather is here to assist you with, saying like, heads up, this is what's happening. You can either prepare yourself for it, or you can just decide not to and just deal with your soggy feet, right? So it's no big deal either way, but this energy is here to assist you. So that's happening tomorrow. No big deal. Okay. So this week is going to be, we're starting out. Today feels, I don't know. Today feels a little interesting to me, and not like the best of ways, but we'll see how the rest of the day goes. But we should see a pretty intense energy spike as we move through the week, especially after tomorrow. And then we shall see We'll still see what happens. But I think it's time now to pivot into some of this, right? Today is weird. I did a TikTok last night, a quick energy update. And I said that it felt like there were two different like waves that people were surfing, back and forth, either like euphoria or just feeling really weird, really weird. Or back and forth. So I don't know. We'll see how today is. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know how to describe the energy that I'm currently in, except that I know it's transitional energy. So I'm not taking it too seriously. Everything this week is transitional energy with like pockets of like, oof, here it goes. Here it comes. So you got this. In Coffee and Coaching on Wednesday, we're going to deep dive into this and into Mercury retrograde and what that means for you, give you some tips, and look at last Monday and kind of pull that through for you guys as well. So Coffee and Coaching, we will definitely do that. And if you have any specific things you want to talk about, obviously we'll do that as well. All right, so we're going to start sensory card pulls this morning, finally. And we're doing crystals again. This is apparently a thing for right now. My crystals want to play, which is interesting because it's been a lot of time since they didn't, but I guess here we are. So I'm going to give you 3 crystals. I'm going to hold them up and show them to you, tell you their names. And you pick the one that feels most resonant with you this morning. It doesn't matter if you're not familiar with the crystal and you don't know its properties. In fact, sometimes it's better. Just go off of like how you feel when you look at it. Okay. And so you're picking that, and then I will be pulling 3 separate card pulls from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle deck, and you'll get your message for today. Okay. I'm going to pull out one more of these trays. Okay, ready? Our first is lepidolite. Can you see that? It's a very light lavender purple. This is lepidolite. Kind of flaky like mica, silvery purple, soft purple. This is lepidolite. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, we have a chunk of rose quartz. Rose quartz. Okay, that's number 2. And then we have what are we going to do? We're going to do this one. Snowflake obsidian. Okay, so which crystal are you feeling this morning? Drop your selection in the comments. We've got lepidolite, which is 1. And we've got rose quartz. And we've got obsidian, snowflake obsidian. Ricky, I knew you were going to pick lepidolite if you were on here, because do you remember I gave you a piece of lepidolite a long time ago? I think I came for a session and it's like that thin purple thing. But yes, so there we go. So lepidolite, rose quartz, snowflake obsidian. Which one are you feeling this morning? And I'm going to start shuffling. Okay. Oh, good. Just in the sense I have it at the top of my to buy list. I have a bunch of these like rough chunks of it. Lepidolite. So again, lepidolite, rose quartz, and snowflake obsidian. Those are your 3 for this morning. And I am shuffling. Which one are you feeling this morning? Lepidolite, rose quartz, or snowflake obsidian? Drop it in the comments. All right. Oh boy. All right. All right, my lepidolite people. Ah, mail. Are you ready? All right. Janelle, what did you pick, by the way? Can you guess why I'm asking? All right, so if you chose lepidolite, this is your story this morning. You've got the movement card. Again, the choices are lepidolite, rose quartz, and snowflake obsidian. So this is lepidolite. You got the movement card. You got the joy card. And you've got the wasp. Look who's back. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right, so the movement and joy, we'll talk about in a second, right? But the wasp we need to talk about first. Anytime the wasp comes out, there is a lot of like jealousy energy. And typically when this comes out, I talk to you guys about how you're making moves, you're doing your work, you're shifting, you're making decisions for yourself that are more healthy, that are, feeling more aligned with you. And that's really threatening for people who are used to you being in a certain vibration with them, because you shifting your vibration puts a spotlight on how they are not. Okay. And that can go one of a million different ways and so many different variations. But when the wasp comes up, that's usually what we talk about. However, that's true today as well. But there's an added situation, my lepidolite friends, that I don't want to say necessarily makes it more complex, but gives it a little bit more nuance. Okay. And this feels a little specific. So this might be for like 1 or 2 people, but we'll see. There's a situation that you have fully 100% contributed to creating. When you began creating, when you began co-creating the situation with different energies, you were in a different vibe then. You weren't who you are now. And that needs to be said, because we change a lot. We learn every day and we shift out of things. So when you began doing whatever this was that you did, you weren't in the same mindset as you are now. However, there are people who you created this situation with who are exactly where they used to be when this started. They haven't shifted at all. They're absolutely in that same space. Now, the issue is kind of a chafe happening here because you're not. And it would be the easier thing to do to just go along with the flow now and just say, fine, like I started this, we'll see it through and keep it going. However, there's likely a part of you that is making it really, really difficult to act like that and to just, let it go because it's no longer in alignment and it feels really kind of ick. All right. So, what do you do? Again, I don't know what your situation is. It just feels very specific. This isn't who you are anymore. And so, if you make the choice to continue acting in misalignment with yourself, it is going to be far more uncomfortable for you than simply being truthful and honest and stepping out of this situation. And I don't know if renouncing is the right word, but just kind of, you know, and setting the example for others that you can change direction mid shift. Do you know what I'm saying? You can say, you can admit, yes, this was me. This was how I felt about it. But today, now, with the information I have and with the way that I feel about life and everything else, this no longer is me. This no longer makes sense to me. And so I'm no longer going to contribute my energy to this. And if that makes you angry, if it hurts your feelings, if it, whatever creates tension between us, that's going to have to be the consequence. Okay. Because your misalignment now is too much of a liability. It's not worth it. So there's that very specific message for whoever needed that. Um, you've also got the movement in the joy card. And listen, this, you can't really stop this. Okay. This is in motion. You're already riding this. This kind of shit comes through to take away from the fact that this is what's happening. This is like distraction. Bzzz, push it away. This is where you're going. This is what's happening. This is the theme right now. Okay? So that is your lepidolite message for this morning. Did that specifically resonate for anybody? Because it just, when that came through, that felt very like somebody. You don't have to say like, exactly what happened, but I'm just curious if that resonates for you. All right. All right, good. Okay. Excellent. Nice. Next up, we have rose quartz. Everyone's like, me. Okay. Oh, my Lord Almighty. Okay. So next up, we have rose quartz. Doing the shuffle over here. Make sure we get that. Oh, come on. Stop it. Okay. Tell me if you remember if we got this same exact pull last time we did this, which would have been Friday. It's the hawk, wealth, and the wind fairy. Didn't we get this? Like, wasn't this the same exact thing? But don't quote me. I just feel like it was. I don't know. Anyway, similar energy. Okay, so this is rose quartz. You have the hawk, wealth, and the wind fairy. So here's what we need to know about this. Hawk will go last. Oh, Kate says wind was with Merlin and Dragon. Okay, that makes sense. Brooke says yes, and the one I chose, I think I'm being called out. If you think you are, you probably are. Okay, so okay. Let's talk first about. Wait, let's talk first about what do we want to do? We're going to talk first about the wind fairy. All right, so the wind fairy is all about your thoughts. Okay, and here's the thing. We've talked for a long time now about dropping out of your head and into your heart center, into your body, not allowing your brain to make all of the decisions because your brain is the part of you that gets programmed. And that's not a bad thing. It's supposed to. Your brain's supposed to run programs. The thing is now we're becoming conscious of the programs that we're running. And a lot of the programs we're running are very subconscious and they're not or originating within us. Like they're not programs we would choose, right? And we've been working under this idea that you can't choose programs, that you have to work with a program that you're born into. And now we're like, oh no, absolutely not. We're not doing that anymore, which is a major shift. Okay. And it is glitching the program holder, which is the brain. Now, what do you do about that? Because it's not like you can just be like, well, I don't want to use my brain anymore. That's not a thing. Understanding that you're in an in between space with reprogramming. You can't pull out a program that you've been running and then leave it alone. You have to put something in there. There has to be another program. And that happens by running everything through your body and asking yourself, what do I think about this? What do I believe about this? And then you create the container of the program that you're running. What do you think about love? What do you think about energy? What do you think about animals? What do you think about this? All of those things are up for debate. You can choose. And this card right here is asking you to take a more proactive role in the reprogramming of your computer system. So that when you bop around, because like 95% of all decision making is made from the subconscious. Think about that. That means the program's running that you don't realize. It's like this, right? So you want those subconscious programs to be ones that you've chosen. You want to have said, you want to have handpicked them, checked for alignment, and then set it and forget it. So this is asking you to really remember that and to understand and have a little bit of patience with yourself as you are in between programs, as you are still being triggered into old programs. Okay, this was actually, I think, in in the channeling on last time too, about scarcity mindset and everything. Because then we have the wealth here. Okay, we have the wealth card as well, and this can mean money, obviously, but it's more than that. It's what does being wealthy mean to you? What does being abundant mean to you? And allowing that to be in your life right now. You can allow that to be in your life right now. There's no need to wait for anything. Waiting is a program as well, just like linear time, which is rapidly deconstructing before our very eyes. All of these things are up for debate and for re-understanding and for changing and shifting. And that can be overwhelming when you're used to everything being kind of like, well, this is how it is. It's written down. Anything can be written down, you guys. Literally anything. 1,000 years from now, somebody could take some bullshit that I wrote here in this office and be like, oh, this must be how the people lived. And I could have been writing some nonsense. So just remember that. Just because it's written down doesn't mean it's true. You decide what's true. You decide what program you're running. You decide what life feels like to you and how you're going to navigate it. You're in that space. Sovereign space. Okay. The hawk is here to remind you that when you see something, you've seen it. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop trying to pull the magic out of the magic. Stop trying that. We do it all the time though, right? It's like, oh, that was a sign, but also it just could be this, it could be that. You know, that bird was probably just flying there because it's going from here to here. Of course, that's what the bird was doing. But you looked up at exactly the right time to see that bird. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't take the magic out of the magic. You don't need to do that. What prize are you going to win? And what harm is there in going through your life with a sense of wonder, with the ability to look at anything around you and feel marvel? That's what children do, right? And we say, oh my God, stop being such a kid about it, like grow up. fairy tales aren't real. Ew. How lame is that? Like, what a wet blanket adults are. Let yourself enjoy the magic that is all around you. Let other people enjoy the magic that is all around them. Take the signs. Yeah, right? Kate says, everyone asking for a sign of your sign. Exactly. And I do it too. So it's not like we know this is how our brains are. We're trying so hard to make everything a fact. The fact is, you're the one who chooses. So, how do you want to live this life? Looking around you, being like, wow, that was fucking magical, or looking around you, being like, well, I can't prove that with logical science based facts, so I don't think that it really happened. However, you want, my friends, it's your choice. That's the rose quartz message. I love you too. Um, Feels like a good seg based off of these comments to remind you that I am doing private sessions again. And there are a few different options. Right now, the two options I have on are 30-minute private channeling sessions. We tap in together, and also a texting or voice texting situation that you can ask me a question through Voxer and we can kind of go back and forth a little bit. And that's actually my favorite. So if you're like thinking like, oh, what should I do? Do that one because I really love it. But you can book that with the link in my profile, and we can tap into what's going on with you together. Get you some assistance. All right. Last is Snowflake Obsidian. Yeah, no more wet blanketing. Not necessary. I feel like I'm thinking like all the things that like either my parents told me, mostly my parents, or well-meaning friends or boyfriends or whatever, that were like, "You're not being realistic, Sarah. Sarah, you're not realistic. Come back down to earth. You're not being realistic." It's like, and I kind of like, I definitely internalized that, but like now I'm like, wow, like idea of what realistic is kind of sucks. And have you ever noticed that nobody ever really criticizes you if your version of like what real is depressing, right? They only criticize you if you are like having a version of reality that's like very light and delightful and fun and whimsical. Like no one's ever like, yeah, no, like life isn't hard, right? It's always like if you're being negative, everyone's like, yeah, that's correct. And if you're not, they're like, you should be more negative because that's how the world is. It's like, mm, that doesn't sound fun to me. I'm also done like taking life advice from people who are clearly miserable. Like, it is not a good look, my friends. Like, you're going to give me life advice, you should be like bright, shiny, and doing your best life. Like, unless you are doing that, do not give me advice because I sure don't need it. So, that's the thing. All right. Oh, all right then. Okay. Snowflake obsidian, spider, grail knight. Thank you. Thank you, still thinking. And the cow. If you're new to watching me on TikTok, come follow me on Instagram so you can see my stuff better. All right, so spider, grail knight, and the cow. This is for my snowflake obsidian people. Again, if you're just popping in and you missed most of this morning's coffee and magic, you can find all of the coffee and magics on my IGTV, on Instagram, or on YouTube. They're all there. As soon as I shut everything down, boom, it's over there, and you can watch from the beginning and get all of the card pulls and everything. Okay, so spider, cow, grail knight, what's the story? Well, let's talk about this one first because this is the one. This is the one. The cow is all about allowing yourself to receive. So, anyway, it's all about asking and receiving. We're really good at asking, not so great at receiving, right? Because receiving means we have to allow someone to give us something, and we have a program. A lot of us have a program that says giving is the best. Receiving, you need to hold off on that because it's more virtuous to give than it is to receive. But that isn't true. We talked about this last time because I remember being like, "See my tattoo? Let's look at my tattoo and use this as a diagram for understanding giving and receiving." If you're only giving, you're missing one half of this infinity. Do you see that? So it turns into what? It's a loop, it's a circle. It goes on and on and on and on with no direction. It never goes anywhere else. The energy just goes vroom, 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 right? Now, if you add the receiving to it, it becomes a complete circuit, an infinity circuit that can continue to go and to go and to go and to go. And what happens is with the magic of giving and receiving is that here at this sweet spot in the middle, this is where the magic happens, right? This is where there's that feeling of balance and like a magical portal opens up. Anything can happen. You cannot always give. If you are always giving, you are not in balance. You're completely off balance. You're just a loop. It's not more virtuous. The cow is here to remind you that giving and receiving have to go together. Okay? Okay? So think about that for yourself. What does it mean? Well, do you struggle with that? Do you have an issue receiving? I know I do. It's hard. It's hard to receive. It's hard to receive compliments. It's hard to receive any type of positive anything, even though don't we want that? It's hard to receive assistance, help. It's hard. It's hard. All the things are hard because we should be able to carry our own bags and do everything ourselves. And yet at the same time, offer ourselves energetic support, physical support, and all the other supports to everybody, right? Without receiving. Again, no. Mm-mm. So think about that. It's important. And then we've got the grill knight and the spider. And here's the thing. When the spider comes, you have ideas, right? Your creativity might be popping a little bit or starting to creep out of there. And I want to tell you about the spider web because some of you guys are new and maybe haven't heard this before. So the spider is built, created to naturally make amazing, intricate webs. And why does the spider make a web? The spider makes a web with an intention to catch what it wants to eat. Does the spider create a web and always catch exactly what it wants to eat? No, it doesn't. Sometimes it catches a hiker with a stick that's like pew, pew, and just totally demolishes that web. Sometimes a bird flies through it. Sometimes it's some big old bug that they can't eat. Does the spider look at that and say, well, I spent all fucking night making that web and now it's destroyed. So I must be bad at making webs. I should stop. I should stop making webs. Does the spider say that? No, because a spider's made to make webs. Just like, fuck it, I'll make another one. I've got endless web making capabilities. In fact, this time I'm going to try a different design just for shits and giggles. This is you. This is you. You are a creator being making your web. Every web is not going to be the one, and it doesn't matter. You keep making webs. You don't stop just because one thing didn't go right. You're meant to make the webs. Don't stop. Keep going. Readjust. Pick a different tree. Maybe don't build your web in a doorway where people walk through every single day. Just saying. Pay attention and maybe shift things around, but don't stop. You're meant to make the webs. Then you have the Grail Knight. And this isn't going to be a whole lot that I'm going to say about this for you. We love to get caught up in seeking an illusion, in pushing our pleasure and reward at the end of a stick, right? At the end of a journey, saying like, oh, I get to enjoy it then. I get to enjoy it after, and pushing everything away and creating all of these different ideas, right? The Grail Night is just reminding you that you're living right now in this moment and that may or may not exist. So don't worry about it so much. Live for now. And I don't mean be reckless and an asshole. I certainly don't mean that. I just mean don't deny yourself the pleasure of the present moment off of the illusion or projected idea that by being harder on yourself or denying yourself pleasure right now, you're going to have a bigger reward. Because I would love to know any scenario besides an orgasm where that is the case. Don't edge with your life. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't need to do that. That's not necessary. Just like go right on into it. Okay. So that is your snowflake obsidian, the little sex reference at the end. Did you catch that? Pretty proud of it. Okay. Hi, everybody. All right. So thank you for being here with me this morning. If you would like to join our community, find more about that at sarahmala.com. Otherwise, I will be back on Friday. Friday is 10 a.m., not 8:30. We'll be chatting about the things. Feels like a long time from now, so we'll see how it goes. Don't forget, tomorrow, Mercury goes into retrograde. That's right. Only end orgasms, not life. Who's making my t-shirt? Somebody needs to be in charge of like making those t-shirts because I would actually be wearing these things, and also maybe mugs and stickers because okay. Come follow me on Instagram if you're not already. Remember, private sessions are open. We're doing private channeling, and the new text message or voice message option is there as well. And I love you. I'm excited to connect with so many of you this morning. I'm super pumped. Have an amazing, amazing day. Drink some water.